In the, early 1990s, urban black communities were suffering from economic collapse. A literal depression was affecting those communities. The unemployment rate had quadrupled in many urban areas. Neighborhoods that were solidly working class, were suddenly turning into ghettos practically overnight. And, at that moment, our nation had a choice. We could have responded with bailout packages, economic stimulus plans. We could have invested in those schools so that the young folks trapped in racially segregated communities might have some hope of making the rough transition from an industrial economy where they once relied on factory jobs to a service-based economy where they needed actually a college education even to make it into the middle class. We could have responded with a wave of care, compassion, and concern, but no. Instead, what did we get? We got the war on drugs, the Get Tough movement, and the evisceration, the end of welfare as we know it. And really the election of Bill Clinton marked the turning point for the Democratic Party, where the Democratic Party decided that in order to win over those so-called white swing voters, the folks who had defected from the Democratic Party in the wake of the Civil Rights Movement, in order to get those folks, they were going to have to begin proving to that segment that they could be tougher on them than the Republicans had been. And, I think that's a part of our political history that is painful, I think, for the black community to face, but it's necessary. And, it's my hope that, as the months and years go by, that we will come to see that politics as usual, where, the black vote is just taken for granted by the Democratic Party, and we're constantly being told, you have to vote for us because, God help you if the Republicans are elected. That kind of emotional blackmail and scaremongering, comes to an end.
That up because and I love this because Nick, no shade, but sometimes our folks, including you right now, can be so deep that we're drowning.
Okay.
So the situation is there are certain things that we would still need to be able to do our own system that come from the process that currently exists. So here we go, finding ourselves in this cyclical pattern, right? We don't vote because we don't see ourselves reflected. We don't see ourselves reflected because we don't vote. We want to overthrow the system, but in order to overthrow the oppressive system that exists, we have to change the system. The only way to change the system is to go inside the system. The only way to go inside the system is to vote our folks inside the system, but we won't vote because we don't see ourselves there.
But that's the facade.
It's
not. Like you said,
that's real.
Historical memory is very crucial, right? So at the time that the Civil War was going on, we couldn't vote. A handful of free blacks, and even in the North, they wouldn't let us